JC from Born, please come on stage. One of the true French serial entrepreneurs. Who doesn't know Minitel? Minitel is like the German BTX, right? This is how you started your digital career.
Yes, absolutely, Marco.
It's like a French internet version.
But I'm an optimist. A friend of mine told me that, being French and being an optimist.
Provide us some background, and it could fill the whole session about yourself, but how did you get to Born to start?
Well, I'll be quick. I come from a family which was very much involved in luxury goods. My great-grandmother was head seamstress of Christian Dior, so I guess I grew up in an environment where making beautiful things, paying attention to details was at stake. And then I decided to go to California. I was a co-founder of E-Trade Europe, which is now a $10 billion market cap company. Then I co-founded VeriSign Europe, which is a $20 billion market cap company. And at one point, I felt like uniting my two passions, which is on one hand, beautiful products, and on the end, technology.
And I think timing can't be better because the big platforms are established. So distribution seems to be there 24/7 globally.
Yeah.
So if you have a strong product, in the world of digital, you get scale immediately.
Yes,
and this is what Born is trying to achieve for the new products, right?
Yes. What I suggest, maybe if you're okay, Marco, we have a very small video, so maybe Richard, I think, is the guy at the production.
Yesterday I saw that they do the new James Bond movie. I love movies.
Well, we're not going to be that close.
Okay. Let's play the movie.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So traditionally, I guess retailers found new products at trade shows. How is it in the digital world, and how can Born help?
Well, I think, there is a situation, you're right, which is right now, let's talk about the brands, first maybe.
We had yesterday Camilo, the ex-CEO of Coty here, talking about the same thing.
Yes, that's right. So I think for brands who try to do or pay a particular attention on making beautiful products, they have a challenge. Number one, they must launch new product all the time. It's the relevance of a brand which is related to how many new products you launch. So the problem is, yes, how do you launch it? PR, it's very local, national, quite expensive. Promotion, pretty local, or trade fair. On the retailer side, there is a time efficiency issue. How do you discover all of those new products in an efficient fashion? That's exactly where we try to act. Solve that problem with an app, with a desktop, which basically, thanks to machine learning as well, we put products into categories. We make sure that they are presented to the right retailer, which can obviously, build this profile and save time and then money.
And in the world of Amazon.com, where accessibility is not an issue anymore, it's probably not the place to go and check new products because then it's too late. How is it in the luxury space? Because the luxury market is not yet gone so much online. I mean, it's so nice to go into a nice store and get treated like Queen Sheba. How big is the online share of luxury? I think there are some stats on that.
No, I think it's progressing for sure. I mean, I think we have to remember that the online buying experience for consumer is 2.9 trillion, and the luxury share is, I think, 27 billion. That's 1%. But that's already 1%. It's 27 billion. It's growing. What's very interesting is that it grew 22% last year. And what's even more interesting is that 89% of that growth is made by young generation and diverse consumers. So we believe that in the future, millennials will actually keep driving that amazing growth. And that's probably why, as you've seen on our selection, we try to be quite premium and not just luxury. Right. And that new population obviously likes the idea to do a lot of things online and not necessarily through stores.
Yeah, but you make a big bet on the offline stores because you're connecting the brands with your offline stores.
Yes.
And you're curating what products, what brands they should carry. Farfetch was a player who helped a lot the retailers who don't have the investment of a big e-commerce business to sell online.
Right.
You are helping them on the procurement side, on finding the right thing. Do you think retail will stay like this, or how do these shops need to change? I mean, the mums and pops, then you have the high end, like the Antignolis from Milano, and then you have the chains.
Right. So,
is retail going to stay around?
Well, maybe to answer that question, if you don't mind, Marco, I think we should, again, look at a little bit of a micro number and get into the details. Right now, there are about 300,000 brands representing the design, lifestyle, multi-categories. There are 1,500 top brands, plus 200 million revenue. They do represent probably 30% of mono-brand retail stores. We have to remember that wholesale is still 70% of the business. So it means that most of those brands still need retailers to actually have access to the end consumer. And on the other side, for retailers, yes, probably the most accurate, the most edgy will remain because they really deliver a particular experience, not just showing a product in the store.
Maybe at some point all retailers will be showrooms, like outdoor advertising, and maybe they need to be there because otherwise we don't see and won't be able to touch the products. What's your view on the large platforms? We believe at NOAH that Europe is like the leading place for design-led products, but the platforms, they're copying quite a bit, no? When you go on Alibaba, are you scared of the big platforms?
So when you mean big platforms like the
like
Amazon,
Alibaba.
Okay. I think these guys have definitely showed the path. They definitely helped the educational, they definitely made people comfortable with the idea, but they're totally price-driven. They, at any time, help the creators of beautiful things to tell their story, to show basically how it's being made. So I think we have to take advantage of them. In some cases, look, sorry to ask a pretty European question here. I am European and definitely a big believer in Europe. And I think you can't deliver a luxury promise out of Seattle or out of Hangzhou. I mean, this is not the culture. This is not the value chain. And fashion comes from Milan, Paris, a bit of Britain, of course, and watch industries in Geneva or in Switzerland, and that's not going to change. Yeah. So I think we have to take that into consideration. Those great platforms are good, again, but they're not going to deliver the promise for luxury products.
And if you look at the direct-to-consumer market, especially in the US, you had a lot of consumer goods coming to the market, like Harry's, which got recently sold. They presented in Berlin. Do you see the DTC, the direct-to-consumer approach, circumventing the retailers?
Right.
Because I was expecting, to be honest with you, a few years ago when we had Warby Parkers and all these new companies, I was expecting, like it was in fintech, that you have like the huge explosion of companies trying to do the same, but that did not happen, right?
No, it's as you know, I share my time between California and Europe, and I see a lot of these guys who backed those direct-to-consumer from the Bay Area or California in general, and they all say the same thing. It's great until a certain point, allowing me to not be boring, but at one point you need to finance your balance sheet. You know, what's your bet on the inventory? How many products do they decide to build to go to the direct-to-consumer? So, okay, we talk about fast fashion, but how far can you go? So what we've seen, they go to a 50 million kind of revenue plateau, and then, funnily enough, they come to us and they say, could you help us select the best retailers?
Because we want to be a hybrid, right?
Exactly.
So what's next for Born? Are you open for investors? My understanding is you finished the platform, you now have added all the data, you're generating the because this guy developed his business over the last 6 years before he even launched operations.
Yeah,
But
well-
sometimes you have, like Spotify was the same. They
Yeah.
developed for 4 years and then they launched and it was...
Well, I think we've been faster than most of the luxury brands who actually took more than 6 years to establish their brand. So I think we have to remember and respect that to build a luxury brand which
Yeah.
is compatible with premium brands, you really need to take the time to be credible. And that's really what we worked on. We are now going through a round of investments. I have financed $6 million so far to build a brand, to build a database, to have a target list of clients, an amazing product, and now it's all about sales, so we need to grow.
Perfect. You're at the right place. Thank you so much, Stacey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.